What's up, guys? Igor Hernandez here. I'm one of the attorneys at Cornish Hernandez and Gonzalez, where I practice injury law and first-party homeowner property claims. And today I want to talk to you about the fact that when it comes to car accidents and slip and falls and basically any kind of injury that you may sustain, hospitals and specifically emergency rooms at hospitals are not the best place to get fully diagnosed for your injuries. Here's what I mean by that. You get into a car accident, you get into a slip and fall, something that you are injured enough that you have to go to the emergency room. You go to the emergency room, they keep you there for a couple of days, they take care of your broken arm or your broken leg or whatever the case may be, and they send you home. And when you get home, you're not feeling the same. You know, let's say you, in the car accident, you hit your head against the steering wheel, or when you fell, you landed on your side and you lost consciousness for a moment. And you don't feel the same. You feel like your thoughts are slower than usual. You feel like your speech is not as sharp as it used to be a couple of days before. And you kind of think to yourself, well, I went to the ER and they discharged me. They didn't say anything was wrong with me other than, you know, my broken arm, my broken leg or whatever. They fixed that. I had surgery for that and I'm fine now. Like no doctor came to me and said I had anything wrong with me. They may have done a CT scan of your head because you bumped your head and they didn't find anything. So you should be fine, right? You went through the whole emergency room process of a major hospital and nothing happened. No diagnostics were done that suggested you had anything wrong with you. And if you think that way, you are among most people. Most people feel the same way. Most people who go through some of these injuries go through the ER, get out. And even though they notice that they're different, they don't really put two and two together because they think that at the hospital, they fully cleared them and diagnosed them. But the reality of it is that that's not the case. When you go through a hospital's emergency room, they are trying to triage you and they're trying to take care of the most glaring problems that you have at the time. So for example, if you broke your leg and you need surgery, they may do the surgery right there. They may stabilize you and send you to the surgery the next day. If you bumped your head, they may do a CT scan. But if they do a CT scan, what they're looking for is to see if you're bleeding internally, to see if there's any kind of hematoma of the brain, to see if there's any major glaring injuries to your head that they need to intervene on, something that would require surgery, something that would require observation. What they're not looking for is the latent issues, the problems that are not life-threatening, but that they could set you back months or years, if not permanently. For example, there's something called minor traumatic brain injury, or MTBI, that we call it. And that's an injury that's not going to show up in a normal CT scan that you get at the hospital. That's an injury that you're going to notice subjectively at first. You're going to know that your speech is not as good as it used to be. You're going to notice you're foggy. You're going to notice you can't do quite the same mental things you could do before. And your imaging is fine. And the reason for that is because most imaging that's done is not meant to detect MTBI. It's meant to detect glaring problems like strokes, hematomas, that kind of thing of the brain. And so if you are feeling that kind of way mentally, it's important that you go see a brain specialist and specifically a doctor that specializes in brain injuries, in brain trauma, because that would be the person that would be properly equipped to diagnose you and to do the right imaging studies to make sure that they can detect anything that may be wrong with you as far as your brain. There are specific MRIs that can be done to detect a minor TBI or not a minor TBI, to detect a TBI, specific imaging that can be done to detect changes in your brain patterns and things like that. And there's imaging that can be done to detect changes in the fluid in your brain. And all of these images and all of these imaging techniques are not going to be things that they will do at the ER. In fact, the ER, I've never seen or heard of them ever doing anything like this. And there's a reason for that. It's because they're trying to triage you. They're trying to make sure they stabilize you and there's no life-threatening circumstances going on. And then that's pretty much the extent of the emergency room's duties when you come in with an accident like that. But anyway, guys, I hope that helps, and I will catch you again next time.